and a very good morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing wonderful and that you had a wonderful weekend. You have joined me, Maha Makhdoom and Shazad Khan for World This Morning, only on PTV World and PTV Global. Assalamu alaikum, Shazad, how are you?
Wa alaikum assalam. I'm absolutely perfect, very fresh for a Monday like this. I mean, it's start of the week, but ladies and gentlemen, since there's no rain out there, so please make sure that you guys are looking after yourselves. These dry coughs are going to stay over there until unless you're going to look after yourself the way you were supposed to be. Or probably you can ask or consult your doctor that, why isn't this dry cough going away? Well, I've asked him quite a lot of times, but I think he does not have an answer to that.
Well, the thing is, I think you have to first adopt healthy lifestyle choices. And then second of all is that you're right, it's the weather, everything's dry, and I've got a constant
Exactly, and it's everywhere these days just because of the fact that it's not raining in our city at least, and I don't think that it has been raining in any other city as well. But then other than that, health is a very pivotal thing in your life just because of the fact that, whatever you want to achieve, you can only achieve it if you are healthy.
Exactly.
Well, that will obviously lead you towards being wealthy as well.
Exactly. And also, like you said, if you're not healthy, then mentally as well, you're not fully there, and then you're going to struggle with fulfilling or meeting the objectives you set.
Exactly, and thank you very much for mentioning or saying mentally. Now, ladies and gentlemen, whatever happens is that whatever we plan it up here. Well, irrespective of the fact whether it's practical or not, but since we are human beings, we have got brains, so we love to think beyond limitations as well. Half of the time, there are people who love to think beyond their capacity or limitations, but then half of the time, there are people who just stick to whatever they are supposed to do every day. So, different day, the same thing.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question, Shazad. When you were young, what did you always dream you wanted to be?
Okay, so, I actually saw a film. Well, obviously, it's from across the border, and I saw it through a keyhole. And just because of the fact that we weren't allowed to watch films as kids. So what happened was that, when I watched that film, so the lead role, which was being played by one of the very famous actors, obviously across the border, well, I always thought that, I'm going to work with him.
Okay. And was it a practical environment for you? Was it something that you thought that
No way. I mean, imagine if you're not even allowed to watch a film on your television screen, how can they probably allow you to work for the television?
Okay, well, there you go. This is exactly what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about having dreams and objectives and kind of goals in life, and how can you achieve them, and can you ever dream too big?
Exactly. So that's what we are discussing. Think big, dream bigger, and then achieve bigger as well. And is it practical? Is it not? But what we'll do is that we'll not obviously talk about all those theories which are out there. We'll give you some important pieces of information, some logical charts that this is how you can plan long-term goals, short-term goals, and then how do they incorporate and all of that.
Exactly, and also from the parenting point of view as well. So to discuss the mentality, the spirituality, and all the things that we can do, we've been joined by Mr. Fahim Sardar. He is the CEO of Askari Securities. Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us.
And he's the author of 3 books, which he's obviously written himself. That's why I call him an author. But, CEO at 34 as well, biggest ever achievement in our respect.
Thank you.
Great. Besides Mr. Fahim Sardar, we've been joined by Mr. Kamar Shiraz. He is a corporate trainer and a spiritual trainer as well. Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Besides Kamar Shiraz, we've been joined by Shabana Ali, who is a spiritual healer. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, as we had a little conversation as we started the show, so I'm going to start with you, Mr. Fahim. Can we ever dream too big?
Wow.
That's a big question. Probably the whole show.
It's a big question because, okay, look, you have to be practical about things. You cannot just dream. Okay, I have a distinction in dreams. Having a dream which is practical, which can be applicable, that I call that the good stuff. Then I call the other stuff which I refer to as the Alice in Wonderland syndrome. Because you're just in a fairy tale. There's some strange place where cats talk and, things fly and, strange stuff is happening. We need to be very realistic about life, but everything starts from the mind. That's how I like to look at it. You have to start from the mind. You have to discipline your mind. Don't let your dreams die, but they have to be logical. You have to work very, very hard. That's, they're just 2 steps in my eyes, but I've talked about them in my second book. But what I'm trying to I'm just trying to summarize that you have to have a very disciplined mind that analyzes and understands your dreams, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Secondly, you have to have a very disciplined mind to bring action into place to achieve those things.
Exactly, because actions speak louder than words anyways. But now, I have got a question for you. Now, the thing is that, when we were going to school, when we were kids, there was a story with the name of Sheikh Chili. All right, so Sheikh Chili was basically a guy who was literally a beggar, but he would think of being very rich and famous and whatnot. So what was the sole purpose of teaching us such a story right when we were actually, going to school, probably in the 3rd grade or 4th grade, where the moral of the story was, don't think too big because then you might not even achieve it. Just think like on smaller pieces or probably on smaller goals so that you can probably lead toward that goal. Now, what do we mean by that? Are they putting in barriers into our heads, or they are actually telling us, don't dream that big?
All right, Shahzad, there's this quotation that says, think big, but start small.
Yeah.
There was this book published 80 years ago from now, and it was the best book well-researched on success, on the subject of success.
Yeah.
The topic of that book was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You must have heard of it.
Yeah.
Now, think for a moment. The first word is think and grow rich. So in our society, we humans, we cannot even think straight, let alone think big.
Yeah.
So the prerequisite of thinking big is to think positive. First, we need to think positive of ourselves, of the society, of the people around us, of our family, of the possibilities that we could go in.
Yeah.
So that's the prerequisite of thinking big, think positive. But there's a prerequisite to that
Yeah.
even. We need to start thinking first.
No, exactly.
Yes.
Obviously,
So
yeah.
let's talk about that aspect
Yes.
of it.
Yeah, but I just wanted to pick up on being positive in the first place. Now, for example, somebody is a smuggler and he
Yes.
wants to grow his own business. How do you think that that they'll be thinking positive? That might be thinking positive for his
Yes.
own self.
Yes.
But for the society, it's not, right? Because
Exactly.
he wants to smuggle in more stuff, bigger stuff, and whatnot.
No, but that's what areas people want to go down. I mean,
Yeah.
you shouldn't
Yes.
do illegal activities. That's stupid. We're not even going to discuss that. But let's, to think positive, you have to be in a positive environment.
Yes.
And unfortunately, the societies all across the world where we live, and there are a lot of naysayers. So before I move on to Shabana, I just want to come back to Mr. Fahim. Like, they're talking about positive thinking. When the social, economic, security, this and that are not there, how can you think positively in order to set yourself realistic or achievable goals?
Look, the word is realistic. I mean, is it realistic to be negative all the time? Is it realistic to have everybody's views in line with what you think?
Yeah.
Who cares? You should be very clear about what you want. You should at least think of, the word is you have to have a very clear thought process. This is what I want to achieve. I'm going to work hard for this. Of course there are going to be naysayers. That's life, but you will not achieve anything if you keep listening to them.
Okay.
Just
Okay,
throw-
so
Yeah, does that really mean, I'll pose this question to
Can I
Shabana.
just add
Yeah,
one-
sure.
I'm sorry. Can I just add?
You paused, so that's what I thought.
The last line was that you have to add positivity for yourself.
Okay.
You're very nice.
It's not going to come on a plate.
Yeah, very nice. I mean, even if it's not coming on the plate, does that really mean that we have to be mean and selfish at times as well? Because then, all of those people who expect from you that, probably you'll just stop working, for example, if they're visiting your place or you're somewhere and, they need your help, does that make us selfish as well to think big and dream bigger?
I don't think so. You have to diminish this thing, this selfishness, first of all. If you have to achieve something in your life, you have to let go of your ego first. Because ego makes you think, I am this, I am that, I can do this, I can do that. What is real you? You have to discover that first, because you have this potential to achieve anything in your life.
Yeah.
But to me, thinking positive is shedding all the layers of ego and selfishness and madness.
Okay.
Madness is, whatever is being told you about yourself. That's not you.
Okay, but let's talk about this because, it's very easy for us to sit here. I mean, each of you are very, you've achieved and you're accomplished in your own right, and you've overcome those hurdles. But for majority of the people out there, it's very difficult to not listen to the people around you. You have family pressures and there's certain things are required of you from the culture or religion. Or people use these excuses to kind of, tell you that you're doing something wrong. But how do you go thick or skim in regards to keeping focus? Because, like you said, there's always naysayers. They will be around you. Some people, you know, it's like waters off a duck's back. For some people, they take it to heart. So I'll ask you, Mr. Fahim, how would you say we deal with it?
The most successful people on earth, they suffer from depression. The most successful people on earth, they're humans. They still bleed if you prick them. The most successful people on earth, the richest people on earth, they also have feelings. It's how you manage them. Being oversensitive to your environment is bad. Being undersensitive to your environment is bad. But the core point that I am trying to make here is it starts from the inside. You have to have a very clear mind. Okay, I want to do this. How do you deal with the naysayers? You have to develop your own merits.
Okay.
You have an idea, no matter how crazy it is. If you've built something, if you've made something, if you've written something, if you've thought of something, you should be able to show it to at least 2 naysayers and get them to be quiet for 2 minutes. That means you've achieved the target.
Okay.
So that means that if we are to start from within, that means that our spiritual health obviously counts for quite a lot. So how do you think that we maintain a balance in between that as well? Because even according to World Health Organization, your mental, your physical, and your spiritual health is the definition of being healthy. So yeah, let's point towards
What's
that.
up with Kamar in the morning?
Allama Iqbal said, immerse yourself in yourself, my forgetful one. This is the secret of life. Come out of the fetters of evening and morning and become immortal.
Okay.
Now what Allama Iqbal is trying to say here is come out of the fetters of evening and morning. Don't let external circumstances control you.
Yeah.
Don't become slave to other people's decision.
Yeah.
Don't become slave to your surroundings. Think for yourself. It should come from within.
Okay, so now tell us, as
Yes.
a spiritual healer, trainer, how do you start that? So let's talk about it.
Yes,
instead of-
exactly. We can start this process by meditating daily.
Okay.
For at least 5 minutes, at least. Daily start meditation 5 minutes and you are going to see the change within yourself.
Okay, now let me move on to Shabana. For meditation, what is meditation? Because I think some people have different ideas of it. For
Yes,
some
yeah.
people, it's sitting quietly in a dark room for 5 minutes. For some
For
people,
me, it's like a hot shower, man.
you know, for
In
that,
the cold.
I actually tried meditation for the first time yesterday, like properly, like sitting down and doing all the breathing. So how would you say people can do
I
it?
believe meditation is simply listening to yourself. Just being quiet for a moment, at least as Kama said, 5 minutes are enough. If you are able to sit quietly and you can still your body and you can deliberately try to not to think much and keep your mind clear of thoughts. It cannot be clear of thoughts all the time, but you can at least focus on your breathing and don't add up more thoughts, whatever is going on already up here. So that is so beneficial. You sometimes you ignore certain aspects in your life and you get more clarity.
Okay, absolutely. Well, yesterday after the meditation, I couldn't involve in conversation because I was so relaxed. It wasn't processing properly.
Well, half of the time what happens to me is that if for example, I meditate like this and I'm quiet for like 2 minutes, straight away, I think I'm going to fall asleep. That's it.
Okay.
That's too much of meditation for me.
It's actually exercise for the mind. But let me ask, Kamal, what else would you do in regards to someone, you're also a corporate trainer, so how do you incorporate this? What do you teach the people about spirituality and kind of finding positivity?
What we basically teach is that whatever you do in your life, whatever action that you are about to take a moment and think that what has influenced you to take that action.
Right.
Was that action influenced by the external circumstances or it came from within?
Right.
So if you contemplate upon it and you reflect upon it and you came to this conclusion that it was affected by external circumstances,
Yeah.
then you need to stop
Right.
right there.
Okay.
And you need to think again, am I taking the right choice? Am I taking the choice which will lead me to the place where I really want to go? So that's the first question you need to ask yourself before taking any action, before making any choice. So
Okay.
that's the first thing.
And then in response to that, I think I would love to share a piece of advice over here. For example, if you're very happy, please make sure that you do not agree to something
Yes.
when you're happy. And then if you're very angry, please make sure that you do not take any decisions at that very moment. probably wait for an hour or two, or probably next morning when you wake up, take a decision that will definitely help you.
You know, I've been given this advice so many times, and it's so hard to put into
hard.
practice.
Yeah, it does
I'm
not
very
really.
impulsive.
It does not really happen that, you know, obviously you probably control your own
Yeah.
self. But now, Mr. Fahim, what I want to ask is that, you know, for all those people who are very successful in today's life, first of all, you know, I would definitely want to talk about the discipline they have in their life. But now, what I want to ask is, dreaming big or probably achieving bigger, does that only relate to money or economics, or it relates to having good relationships, it relates to having, you know, healthy kids? I mean, the definition can probably be very different from person to person.
It is very different from person to person, but it encompasses most of the things that you just said.
Yeah.
And I think, once again, you know, we have, I keep referring to my book, I have actually pointed this out, that you have to be very clear about what you want. People don't know what they want, and I'm being very frank here.
Exactly.
I'm being very polite here.
And can we show these
Yeah,
books?
sure.
like,
They're so far away, I can't reach them, and I'm tied in.
Let me try.
Okay, you try.
Okay, so this is the first one, The New Finance Construct by Mr. Fahim Sardar. And where is it available?
It's available in all the major bookstores. It's available online. You just have to Google it.
All right, very
And
nice.
it's, let me see.
Yeah, you can take a look
Achieving
at-
an economy free of interest. Okay, so that's a very big.
And then, since Mr. Fahim Sardar is a very young CEO, so the second book says CEO at 34, so probably you'll get to see whatever you want to see, or probably read how
I
you
think-
can be a
Shehzad,
CEO.
most of the things that, at least from my perspective, that we're talking about,
Yeah.
Isn't that?
it's mentioned in this
Yes.
because I saw people making lots of mistakes, and I was like, this book is not meant to make you a CEO. It's meant to make you a better manager with
Yeah.
more success.
Okay.
Because people make so many mistakes that if you can just sort of identify to them, look, can you not do this? Can you not do this? Suddenly, within a week's time, they start making better decisions.
Okay.
All right,
This time-
and then the last one, which says Mind Conquest, the Power of Ideas by
Yeah,
Mr.
so
Fahim Sardar once
C34,
again.
this one, the most relevant to the show today.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
The title says The Mind Conquest. You
Okay.
can find all of these books in any of the major bookstores over here in Istanbul, Lahore, Karachi, anywhere, or otherwise you can look for
Okay.
them online as well.
Now, what Shehzad was, just building up on Shehzad's question about, you know, what is big. When you think you've achieved everything, or as in you've got a healthy relationship, you have kids, or you have a job, for some people that is the bigger picture, you know, that's thinking big for them. But there are people also around you that make you feel that it's not enough. So I know we've talked about owning it for yourself and being positive within yourself, but how do you get to that point? I want to talk about more techniques that people can, you know, incorporate into their lives to become more content.
Maha, let's start from the beginning, and I'll try to keep this very short.
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat what I just said. People have to know what exactly they want. If somebody wants to be like a super duper rich person, then fine, accept it. And for that, you're going to have to work 20 hours a day.
Okay.
You're going to have to talk to like 50.
All right, I'll have to stop you over here, but ladies and gentlemen, right now we need to go for a short break. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, because today we're talking about thinking big and then obviously achieving bigger as well. Well, when you think big, how can you achieve bigger? Obviously achieving big then. All right, let's take a break.
Welcome back, everyone. And before the break, we were in discussion about thinking big, achieving big, dreaming bigger, you know, all these things.
Exactly,
But-
and the only thing, you know, which I was saying before the break was that, for example, if you think big, you cannot achieve bigger. For, you know, that you obviously have to think bigger to achieve bigger as well. But now coming back to a point where I said that, you know, all of those people who are well settled, who are successful in our eyes, they are very disciplined people in their lives. Now, what do we mean by that discipline? Do we mean, because, you know, at the same time, Kamar was saying that let, you know, all of your surroundings, make sure that, you know, they do not probably, you know, are the ones to probably hold the control onto you, whether it's morning, whether it's evening, whether it's nighttime. So, you know, drive your own self. How do we do it?
There is this culture in today's world, and we've unfortunately adopted it. That is, everything happens by chance. Fate is written, we know that, we should know that, we should understand that, but we should understand that success does not come by accident. If it's coming by accident, it is, as I described, it is natural success. You cannot claim it. You have to go for acquired success, which is you build that success. Now, let me give you a very short example, because I'm sure others would like to contribute. If somebody wants to do something which is big, or, you know, it's a big dream or something, how much effort are they putting in it? First of all, is that concept good? Are they putting in effort? Are they thinking about it? Are they taking steps to make that thing happen? If they're not doing all these things, then how can you achieve anything?
Okay.
Now, that is something which you see more and more. I mean, I've seen it so many times that I was compelled to write about this. That I don't see how people are managing themselves. How can you run straight if your eyes are closed? How can you build something with your hands tied? And if you're tying them yourself, you should never blame others. You should just blame yourself.
Absolutely. It's about taking responsibility for your own actions. Now, in regards to have discipline, it's good to have discipline in our practical life, but it's also good to have discipline in our thinking, in our spirituality. Now, you're talking about meditation. It's one form of getting a bit more spiritual and connecting with that.
Thinking positive.
Exactly. Now, when is the best time for one to do that? Should we start teaching it to kids at a young age? Should we start doing it in the workplace? Should we do it when we wake up? Give us some positive solutions.
Well, the best time to do meditation is in the morning time, at around Fajr.
Okay.
And that's what we are doing at Wallet Circle. We are educating people about the meditation and the benefits of meditation, and how it can improve your work-life balance and overall your spiritual, mental and physical body balance, and just a whole lots of benefits of meditation. That's what we are teaching. The best time is in the morning. And if you are consistent, if you are, let's say, if you decide to do meditation at 5 o'clock in the morning, then just stick to that time, because it will create a ritual. Now, every time when you wake up at 5 a.m. and you start doing meditation, it will create a ritual within yourself, and every time it will get stronger and stronger. And you will feel it within yourself that after a week or two, it is getting stronger. And
but what is the benefit of that in our day-to-day life?
Well, the benefit is your focus is all within yourself. From outside, it is going within yourself, and your sense of self. You don't find yourself in things, in other people. You are finding yourself in yourself.
Okay.
That's
And I think when, for example, if you're going to start doing it, you are probably moving towards having a very disciplined and a better life as well. Because it's going to be a ritual of a sort where you wake up every morning, you're going to get stronger. This is what they say about praying, or probably if you want to develop a habit of praying, that if you continuously pray for 40 days, the next 41st day obviously will be one of those where you want to do it yourself.
Okay, sorry, just before we move on to the next question, I just want to ask Shabana, how early should we start trying to connect with our spirituality? Should parents be teaching this to their children, like meditation?
We are basically spiritual beings. It's not, question when you should be connecting yourself spiritually. We are supposed to be spiritually connected.
Okay.
As soon as possible.
Okay.
Now, what Maha was trying to ask over here was that, parents, they obviously play a very pivotal role in your life. And now they have to tell you that, there are no boundaries out there are no barriers which are going to be too high in practical life. But on another note, on the contrary, what happens is, if you won't study, you will be a kurewala. If you won't study, you won't get a job. If you won't study. And now, what I want to do is I want to break this barrier, first of all, that for all those parents who are out there, please make sure that whenever your, kids are going to school or colleges or university, please don't keep on saying that you won't get a job. If you want them to be entrepreneurs, if you want them to be good businessmen, please don't say that. Just say if you won't study, you won't earn better.
Well, I
Probably.
think that's
I
all
mean, that's-
debatable.
I would add
that's-
something to
that's-
that,
yes.
Shahzad, because there's another thing what parents shouldn't do. They shouldn't say all the negative things. They should be more creative and form some positive statements. If children are not paying much attention to their studies, they can say something positive.
So that's the
Instead
style
of
of it.
saying you won't get it and if you don't do this.
So mix and match, a plus and
It's
minus,
like after
right?
it's like a
And
6
which is not going to be together anytime sooner in life.
It's like a probation after 6 months where they give you the positive, then the criticism, and then the positive to soften the blow. But now, in regards to,
Ms. Shivana.
yeah, Bishabana's comment about, it's about any age, it's okay. Within the workforce, how important is it to be aware of oneself and the clarity? We keep talking about this clarity. It's about knowing what you want to do. But like you said, a lot of people within, well, in this century, we're kind of lost. We're kind of muddling our way through.
Or probably we're not risk takers.
Yeah, what
Or
are
the
we?
initiative is lacking.
It's a it's a mixture of many things. We do like to take risks, but we like to take glamorous risks. We like to do things which are represented by the biggest, I think, the hypnotizer on earth called Hollywood, because that's so unreal. It is so unreal. We have started following people who don't exist. The people who exist, we don't want to emulate them because those guys used to work 16 hours a day. We like to talk about it. We just don't like to do it. We don't talk about the guy who came up with Java. I'm not a techie, but I studied his life, and it was just unbelievable how many hours he put in to understand the thing. How many hours did people put in to develop computers? How many hours did I mean, to be fair, I mean, it's easier to write a book now, in my opinion, than it was 50 years ago, because now you can easily edit and do things. How many hours did those people put in? How many hours did Leo Tolstoy put in to write that climactic War and Peace?
Yeah.
We don't think about those things. We like to talk about it.
We see the end product.
The fact of the matter is, I think the clarity of the mind comes from understanding what is real, what is not real, what is desirable, what is not desirable, what is needed versus what we want.
Okay.
I could want 1,000 things, but frankly speaking, I just don't need them.
That's why Warren Buffett says that, if you're going to get things which you want, probably you'll have to sell them just to fulfill your needs as well.
There you go. So I'm just trying to, this is a pretty big topic, but in the corporate arena where you started from, it is absolutely sacrosanct. You cannot have confused people. I, as a habit, make sure every month I have a company meeting. Everybody comes to that company meeting. I ask them questions. They can ask me questions. We have 2-3 guiding principles. That's it.
Okay.
Every day, every action, every breath we take should be towards those things. And guess what? Over a period of time, people start actually, that disciplines their life as well, their work life. I've told them, for example, this might sound funny, but I said, you're not allowed to play any games except one game. You can play that whenever you feel like. It's called chess.
All right.
Okay? If I see anybody playing any other game, that's the end of it.
Is it because you like chess and you're the CEO? Or
It's, yeah, well, yeah, I do. I love chess. I've twice beaten the computer in chess 8,000. Yeah.
That's kind of.
But the fact of the matter is, it gets your mind to think.
Yeah.
It gets your mind to think of consequences. What's happening right now, and I think I should end here because others would also like to say something, is your dream, your thought, consequences need to be aligned.
Okay.
We meditate because we have to slow down the brain cycles, which at the alpha state are the best.
Okay.
When they're at the beta and gamma state, that's when things are going haywire. That's when we're screaming.
Okay.
is there something beyond that? Beta and gamma and
Yeah, beyond that,
going
that's
on?
called a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
So basically, what I'm trying to simplify here is, look, people really need to look in the mirror very carefully. They need to ask themselves a few questions. What's real? What's not real?
Yeah.
Do I want this or do I need this?
Okay.
I want to succeed or I need to succeed.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
No, now I will pick up on you saying that, they need to look into the mirror. That means in the corporate world, it's SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat. How many times do you think that all of those individuals who are out there who do their own SWOT analysis by their own selves are actually not able to see the full or the complete picture because they might be placing their weaknesses into opportunities or probably threats somewhere else. That's what you call haywire or beta or gamma. How do you think that they can see the mirror the way it is?
Look, to quote one of my favorite authors, he's a Russian author, Fyodor Dostoevsky, he said, the best amongst you is he who at least once a week calls himself a fool. Now, you have to be honest with yourself. Okay, fine, no, I'm not good at this, I'm good at that. And a bigger fool is he or she who does not ask a trusted person, am I on the right track? How many people do you know? Let's do an analysis right now. How many people have you met who've said, am I doing the right thing? Was I right? Did I offend somebody? Did I talk properly? Do I sit properly?
I've got 5-6 people and they always tell me, yeah, you've done that. All of these things.
You're lucky to have good friends.
Yeah,
if somebody's criticizing you, even if when your naysayers are criticizing you, I've discussed this in my book, listen to the naysayers. Don't ignore them. Ignore their negativity, but listen to what they're saying, because they're going to give you something so valuable that honestly your friend cannot tell you.
Okay, that's a very important Qamar?
Yes, I think Mr. Fahim has summed it all up. I would like to add up this saying that we people are we are hardwired to a certain pattern of thinking, and we make choices unconsciously. We are not even aware of it, and we are in this pattern from generations. It is in our DNA. And we first need to break that pattern. We first need to question our beliefs.
We need to rewire ourselves.
Yes, we need to rewire ourselves, our thinking pattern, and everything that we have within ourselves. We need to question it first. We need to break it and then move on to
Great.
new pattern.
And Shabana?
And that leads you towards your self-discovery. You know yourself better, what you can do, what you are capable of doing, and you discover your true potential, basically.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a big topic.
Yeah, it was a big topic, and then we had a breaking news in between, ladies and gentlemen, as well. So we might not have covered it that way, but obviously and surely we'll definitely write an article probably on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of
World This Morning.
On Twitter it is
World This Morning without a G.
On Dailymotion and YouTube.
World This Morning.
And before we say our last hellos and everything, the only thing which I would love to mention over here is that a lot of times when you want to do something and you think that you do not have the capacity, at least give it a try. And do not listen to all those people, oh, how can you do it? It's right, impractical, whatnot. Give it a try.
Again, I just want to also say one thing is that we talked about having focus and objective, and that's very important. But if you don't panic. You've still got time to figure out. I mean, 3 years ago, I had no idea I'd be sitting on television hosting a show. So anything can happen.
So 1, 2, 3, good morning. Thank you very much.